Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with game number 2 between HasuObs and Puma. HasuObs is up 1-0. We're going to go into game 2 on dual site. This is a match to remember because it is the Kingston HyperX match to remember. And what a great match. Dude, HasuObs played so sick game number 1.
Absolutely. It's not just a match to remember because it's called the match to remember. It's a match to remember because these players are unreal good. This is insanely high level PvT right here. As we saw in that last game, these guys are actually pretty darn evenly matched. Puma kept trying to put pressure on HasuObs with those drops, but was unable to actually do any damage pretty much all game with that. And then they ended up both getting completely maxed before being able to engage pretty much at all. And then that one huge engagement ended up deciding the game in HasuObs' favor just due to his better micro. And I was actually pretty surprised because I felt like his entire army was stacked up all in one big death ball. So it should have been a little bit more susceptible to EMPs, but unfortunately Puma, I feel, as we already discussed after the last game, did not get the EMPs he needed. But on a map like dual site, it's completely different from Terminus.
It's a change of pace, man.
Absolutely.
It's a huge change of pace. We do see that dual site normally has the 2 base plays. That's what really speaks out. And I feel like Terran really like that because a lot of the Marine Marauder composition is based around minerals, not gas. And gas is very hard to come by. And Protoss just really loves that 6 gas at least. It's kind of hard. It's not undoable, don't get me wrong, but it's hard going 4 gas and then trying to keep up with a Terran army. We'll see how does HasuObs actually play this match in particular.
Yeah, it could be a little bit difficult. Might even have to resort to some type of cheesy tactics or some type of play with War Prisms, something like that. I really think some War Prism usage with multi-pronged attacks. Last game especially, Puma had his whole army kind of in one spot. He really didn't have any defenses at any of his bases. So if we did see some type of War Prism usage, counterattacks, things like that from HasuObs, he might be able to put Puma on his hind legs so that he's forced to play defensively and is unable to put on that pressure. And that type of play could possibly allow HasuObs to secure a 3rd base.
Yep, we'll see how he actually does it. Of course, HasuObs, he is known more for the very standard play, so I haven't actually seen any Warp Prisms coming out of him yet. I would love to, though, especially with the new changes that happened to the Warp Prism. We'll see. For now, Puma, it looks like he's doing the same old build.
Yeah, man.
We always expect him to do. It's going to be the gasless expansion.
Yeah, it's just, it's a safe build. There's not much wrong with it. It used to be weak to blink. That was pretty much the only reason that you would have trouble going with it. Oh my god, is he going to lose his SCV? Oh man. Oh, I'm sorry, interrupting myself. Puma actually, unfortunately, with that bad luck there, his SCV was on the outside the entire time, got attacked by that probe, and actually lost an SCV building that supply depot. But in any case, the gasless expand is very safe. You used to have to worry about the possibility of blink, especially things like blink plus observer coming into your main. You'd be weak, but they added 30 seconds to the blink timing. And that might not seem like a big deal to some of you guys, but that actually makes gasless expansion 100% safe because in that 30 seconds, it actually makes a big enough difference that you can get out the Marauders in time. Before, it was like you barely couldn't get out enough Marauders in time to deal with that blink play, and you would die early on. But nowadays, you can get it up pretty darn early. So I really like Puma's play, and I think this is probably just going to become the standard of TVP as we see the matchup evolve because, yeah, 2 racks expansion can allow you to put more pressure on your opponent, but you don't necessarily need to do that. You can absolutely 100% get away with going gasless expansion and just have that macro advantage.
Yeah, what I'm kind of still worried about with Puma is how he actually gains this type of space. I mean, HasuObs has a lot of capabilities right now, just clamping down on that bottom ground. And if Puma actually doesn't get a bunker down here like immediately, he will be in a little bit of trouble. There's a lot of different things. The range in which HasuObs can be making, well, whatever he could be potentially making, whether it be Void Rays, whether it be mass gateway units, whether it be just robotics facility, it's just a huge variance. And I don't know if Puma is going to be able to get in with a good scout here and check out what his opponent's doing. All he's going to see is that there's no expansion here, and literally he will have to stay in his base for quite a long time. I don't think Puma can push down for quite a long time because there's no bunker there.
Yeah, he hasn't started the bunkers just yet, but that's only, he can really only not move down if HasuObs actually applies that pressure, but is he going to get the scout into the base? Oh, he does get it in. Unfortunately, HasuObs did not click on that sentry and have it on attack quick enough, and now that's a lot of scouting information from Puma to get. He sees the robotics facility, he sees the double gas, he sees the 2 gateways, he knows exactly what HasuObs is going for, and he knows he's going to be safe because this build from HasuObs is not any type of aggressive build. It's a safe build. 2-gate robo, one of the most standard safe builds you can possibly do, PvT. So I feel like Puma is just going to be able to lift that orbital out to his natural anytime he wants, and should be in a pretty darn good situation. And look at that, this game, he is going to add on that factory much quicker than we saw previously, so he is going to be rushing up to those medevacs just a little bit faster. And HasuObs is going to have to be very careful that he doesn't, you know, just take double-pronged aggression, lose his natural, lose probes in his main.
The opportunity cost for this factor is going to be that Stim. We can see Stim is delayed now. As soon as his second 100 gas comes up, he will throw down that Stim immediately. He hasn't put any add-ons on his other barracks yet, but you're going to see that his gas is going to be very stressed, especially only staying on 2 gas. A lot of times you do need to get up to that 3rd gas if you want to be able to sustain with all 3 of these barracks, meanwhile also getting that starport tech and the double medevac tech. We'll see how he actually does that. I really implore him, though, to get that 3rd gas ASAP. We don't see him getting it just yet.
I definitely agree with you there. You will have enough minerals, of course, with that double muling. The gas is going to be so important here. The observer from HasuObs does see the expansion. Puma's playing very risky right now because of that crucial scouting he got. Think about how insanely important that SCV was, because right now he doesn't have any bunkers as natural, just building 1 now. There's no way he could have gotten away with that if he had no idea what HasuObs was doing. He would have had to worry about all the different attacks that could have come. So just 1 SCV makes that huge of a difference in the game. Allows him to spend more money on more units right now, more SCVs. Instead of wasting money earlier on bunkers, even though you can salvage them, but you do that later on. So I mean, it prevents you from keeping up your production right now. And there's the reactor just finishing, so Puma will be switching that starport on there. And as you said, he did get that 3rd gas.
Yeah, Puma though really messed up his build. He supply capped himself just when he's supposed to be getting medevacs. Ooh. So you emphasize getting such fast medevacs this entire time, and then you supply cap yourself. These medevacs therefore are going to come out at pretty standard times. It's only like 20 seconds that it was delayed, but still that represents a lot of time he could have been dropping it, like maybe in just about another 20 seconds, because I think it takes 42 seconds for medevacs to come out. Yep, 42.
Yeah, and I mean, HasuObs playing a little bit risky. You know, he has all of his army just down there at the natural, and he doesn't have that much map control. He does have that observer, but both Xel'Naga towers, oh, excuse me, not both. He has the top Xel'Naga tower, but the bottom Xel'Naga tower is held by Puma. That's going to be the important one to watch for those drops coming in. It looks like HasuObs is going to go try to take that now. He's moving forward with those stalkers and sentries. I don't think he's actually going to be aggressive yet. He just want to take that map control. Oh, wow. Huge stim on the entire army of Puma.
This is not a good place to be attacking, and look at that. He actually only loses 1 Marine. Just a little bit off with that last, or his second force field, actually.
I feel like that was a big mistake, though, stimming the entire army.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps just stim a couple of Marines forward to check, but to stim the entire army like that and lose all that health, lose all that you know, energy eventually on the medevacs was just a little bit risky. But look at that. The factory scouting actually sees the Colossus for HasuObs. So yet again, great scouting by Puma. And here comes the double drop into the main. HasuObs' entire army out of position was attacking that factory, so it actually baited him there. And now he's going to go for the Nexus, see if he can actually try to snipe it. No, he's going to go for the robotics facility. There's a second Colossus, very, very close to completion, and it dies 9 seconds away from being completed. He's going to try to just load up and escape.
HasuObs taking a huge loss from this entire engagement. It looks like he needs to just rely on his gateway tech to keep him safe in this early game stage, but that's something very hard to do. We do see Vikings coming out, but you know, off of this, Puma probably could go just 4 Vikings, and then the rest medevacs. He might even have a timing attack built into this entire build, just because he killed that 1 robo, and now he is pumping off of 5 barracks. Now look at this top left-hand corner, ninja expansion going down for HasuObs. If he can get this gold expansion up, it will kind of recompensate for, or just compensate for that robo lost. Maybe if he can get a lot of gateway units up, get that charge, get the blink up, he will be able to overwhelm his opponent, but it's going to be very difficult, I think, in this stage.
Look how much damage that that drop did. Not just in the actual damage it did, but it forced HasuObs to make these 2 cannons in his mineral. That's another 300 minerals down the drain, of course. So it's just really not what HasuObs wants to be doing right now, especially as he's trying to take that Ninja Gold base and really needs to keep that pro production up, try to get that pro count as high as possible and continue to macro up his army. It looks like Puma, though, is going to move forward, force some aggression. You were exactly right about that timing, and he did stop right after 4 Vikings, so great calls on both of those, and he's going to move forward right as +1 finishes. Great timing. It literally just finished, and HasuObs is, well, he does have +1 done himself as well, but he has charge only about halfway done. That will not be done in time. With only 1 Colossus, he could have some trouble dealing with this army. He's going to have very good force fields. Oh,
look at this. Puma actually doesn't know about that top left, but there is a Marine going directly over there. Look at that. It's in the path. And HasuObs will be found out in that top left expansion.
Wow, great play. And Puma definitely doesn't want to engage here if he doesn't have to. And look at that. As soon as he sees the base, he pulls his entire army back. Great choice. He's just going to go put pressure on that gold expansion. And look at all the probes transferring over. They're going to be forced to walk away.
Oh, the Colossus. There it goes.
Nice snipe by those Vikings. He actually has gone up to 6 Vikings now, so I'm pretty surprised that he's continuing to commit despite the fact that he did kill off that robotics facility, but he's going to be able to go kill this gold base. So HasuObs, unfortunately, you know, it's just not going to work out for him yet again. Great scouting by Puma. That seems to be just his absolute signature mark of his play right now.
Yeah, and for now, he is having a huge gas surplus. That gives him the ability to get those ghosts if he needs to. We do see Mobius Reactor being researched, and the third is under attack right now. Hold that thought. Planetary turning into a Planetary Fortress. There's the charge. All the wastes on the first Planetary Fortress, but look at that. Force fields go down. It's not going to be good enough. HasuObs needs to back out. He is really behind in supply, actually.
Yeah, he really is. Puma's been taking a further and further advantage of this game, but here come the Templar moving forward. They do have Storm ready to go, and they have enough energy, 3 of them there, and the Ghosts aren't yet out for Puma, so good Storms could completely turn the tide of this game. Yeah, he still doesn't have any Ghosts on the way despite Mobius Reactor. There we go. First Ghost on the way. There's +1 armor that just finished for HasuObs. Looks like he was just waiting for that to complete, or is about to complete. There we go. 1 second. There we go. So he's waiting for that +1 armor to complete. Now he's going to go for the engagement. Puma's going to be behind on the upgrades, but +1 armor about to complete for him. 1 second. There we go. Now they're both at 1-1. He's going to be able to target fire down the command center and kill that off. So that's definitely a blow for Puma, but it's still 2 base versus 2 base, so he's not in that bad of a situation, and he's still up 34 food.
Oh, he actually has no concussive shell. There's a nice Storm just backing those units up, saving that 1 Zealot. Did he save the Zealot? Nope. It died.
Wow, you're right. No concussive shell. Actually pretty odd for this stage in the game. Would be very helpful for kiting as well as just picking off key units like Templar. But it looks like HasuObs realizes that he did exactly what he needed to. He denied the third, killed the third. He wants to fall back. He definitely doesn't want to engage while he's behind on food. Instead, he's going to take that third over there at the bottom right. Looks like he has a probe over there at the top left. No, he's going to leave. I thought maybe he's going to double expand. But he's going to go ahead and leave and just defend that base on the bottom right. Try this base on for size since the gold base in the top left didn't work out so well for him. But if Puma does scout this, and he's been scouting everything very well this game so far, he could put on a lot of pressure, and HasuObs is going to be very careful, especially if Puma starts doing drops at the natural, because HasuObs' natural is actually very wide open if, you know, with his army down here at the bottom.
This is the wrong move. The Vikings are actually going to land, and he loses 4 Vikings, maybe even more. 5 Vikings. Holy crap. That was such a big blunder. He was trying to get rid of this 1 pylon with Vikings, but it was so unnecessary.
And look at this, man.
Wow,
double robo on the way. So that's actually a huge deal. He's going to go back to making a lot of Colossi, and the fact that he just lost those Vikings is actually a very, very huge deal. So Puma's got to be careful, but he's got these 5 Ghosts. So if he actually gets some good EMPs off, this entire gateway-based army here from HasuObs could just be toast.
We do see the Ghost trying to initiate right away, and they might get some huge EMPs. That's
Great
2 huge EMPs. And oh gosh, it looks like that 1 High Templar is going to go down there. The force fields go up, but this engagement is wrong. He needs to back up.
Some of the worst force fields blocked all of his own Zealots from actually getting to that entire army. So HasuObs actually working against himself right now. He's got to be a little more careful. He does have Blink on those Stalkers, but he can't afford to engage after those EMPs. He's just way too far behind right now. Puma, I mean, the food difference has actually been evened out a little bit, and HasuObs has managed to save this third base, but look at Puma now moving up towards the natural, and HasuObs has no observer there. He doesn't have that map control, so he does not see this coming. He's trying to take the Sinaga Tower. Now he's going to go back to defend, but it might not be in time. Oh, Puma, huge stim on the entire army. He's going to go up and snipe the Nexus. This is going to be terrible for HasuObs.
It looks like the... Oh, feedback goes down. He is able to take out one of the Ghosts, but that... Oh, poor High Templar. He's just going to get sniped.
Sniped in the face, man. Headshot.
In the face. Headshot. It looks like You know, this Colossus tech looks to be very strong, though. That's what I'm really scared about. Do we have any? No, we just have medevacs coming in for Puma. Puma doesn't actually have a lot of medevacs, just 4 to his name right now. He needs to get a bit more. Actually, 4 is pretty good, but I guess he's just trying to strengthen his army that much more. And Ghost, again, we do see a huge gas surplus for both these players. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is, but look at that. Puma paying attention to that Marauder. One Marauder went over to that center of the map and actually noticed the Colossus attacking it, even though he didn't have a vision of it. So now he immediately starts that Viking production yet again. So as long as he doesn't engage until he has a couple more Vikings, he'll be in a pretty good situation. But yeah, that gas surplus is very strange. I would have expected HasuObs to you know, go ahead and just make some more Templar. It's always good to just have more Storms available or just get more Archons. And at the same time, Puma, I mean, hey man, why not just make more Ghosts? Like, the more Ghosts you have, the better. If you can just snipe all the Templar, EMP the entire army, and have like snipes left over to use on Zealots, etc., or Sentries, you know, you're going to be in that much better of a situation. But he's still way ahead on food, 193 to 165 right now. And if we look at the upgrades, it looks like HasuObs right now is at 1-2 upgrades. Puma only at 1-1 though, and he has not been continuing his upgrades. So Puma is falling behind, and once that 2-2 finishes for HasuObs, it's going to get even harder for him.
Yep, and it looks like the engagement might happen pretty soon. There's the big scan that goes down, and EMPs, nope, they're not going to go off just yet. Puma needs to land good EMPs if he wants to engage onto this army. But the big problem is he needs to keep them as well, because the High Templars are sitting in the back for that second wave. That's so important in Protoss versus Terran, that you have that second wave of High Templars to really punish players for overdoing it with the EMPs in the beginning. There's the big EMPs that go down. Is he able to get all of the Ghosts? No, he isn't. The Ghosts are able to back up very nicely. Now the Vikings are going to get in here into this nice position. Snipe goes down, kills off that one High Templar over on the side here. He still has Ghosts with a lot of energy on them. Yeah,
HasuObs has to be very careful. He did a nice job storming those Vikings, trying to get rid of those so his Colossi can stay alive during the engagement. He has 5 Colossi right now, so Puma desperately needs to make more Vikings. He's only got 5 Vikings here. Engaging with equal numbers of Vikings and equal numbers of Colossi is not going to be a good idea.
Unless it's 100 against 100.
Well, with the food cap, you can't, yeah, you can't have 100 Colossi, but if you could, I think it would probably be the most overpowered thing ever. Except if your opponent had 1 Viking, since you wouldn't have any anti-air.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
But,
you have no anti-air. That's cool.
But they, you know, they'd probably be able to kill all your buildings before you
maybe
actually get killed.
If it's 30 against 30, how about that?
Okay, yeah, that might be a good spot, because they're still gonna like one-shot every Colossus.
And they get attacked, of course.
You could just one-shot 2 at a time, actually, pretty much, if you had 32. But Puma really just doesn't want to engage until he has more Vikings here. He has a lot of medevacs, which is great for this army. They're all building up energy, but he's got to be careful because, of course, if they just all get feedbacked, all of a sudden they're all worthless. So he has to be so diligent with his EMPs. Oh, he sees this army moving forward towards his third, though. As soon as he moves his army out of position, HasuObs going in for the attack. Looks like he's just going to go for the counter. No, he's bringing his army back to defend. No, he's maybe going to go counter the gold base here. 1 Templar was left there, and he sees that with the scan, but of course he's lost his entire third in the process. So Puma is going to fall behind here, and he doesn't even have another command center on the way to go send to that top left base.
Oh no, the Vikings all get stormed. He loses 4 of them. And it looks like, oh man, he only has 3 Vikings in this whole army. Colossus are going to be so powerful, but no, HasuObs is just going directly for the natural. He says, screw it, man. I don't care at all.
Yeah, a bit of a base trade going on here. It looks like HasuObs has taken that bottom right base, and I don't think Puma knows about that. He should have realized with all those probes going down south that there'd be a base there, but he's not even sending a single unit to check. Desperately needs to do that. And oh my god, HasuObs taking the bottom 6 o'clock base as well. Basically just taking bases that would be unlikely for Puma to scout, but Puma's going to move forward. We might have a huge engagement right here. Nice EMP on all the Colossi. All the sentries as well are completely out of energy. He still has a couple Templar left with a lot of storms, though. Will he be able to get the EMPs off? Nice storm, but nice dodge as well for EMP. That storm didn't really do anything, but nice feedbacks on the medevacs. It doesn't look like there are any more EMPs available for Puma, but his army might just be too big. HasuObs about to lose his entire army. He doesn't have any zealots left to tank, and he's going to lose all of these Colossi.
Oh my god, actually cutting out back a little bit. Still looking really good. It looks like Puma will come on top in that battle. And look at that, HasuObs is actually taking an expansion all the way on Puma's side. But that bottom right base, that's what's really speaking so much. Can Puma take that out? That's going to be the big question. There are High Templars in this army, and he could potentially force field. Here we go, the attack has engaged. And, oh, kind of, I don't know what he's doing.
Well, Puma has to be so careful right now because he doesn't really have much income. He only has one mining base, and it's more like half of a mining base that's about to be mined out anyways. Whereas HasuObs' natural is not mined out yet, so he's the same there, but he also has this bottom right gold that he's mining. So HasuObs has a huge advantage right now economically. So Puma has to be very careful that he doesn't lose this army because then the game will simply end. But we're going to see a snipe on the Colossus. Storm went off, but he dodged it. Templar and Colossus go down. Nice play by Puma. Nice micro. But unless he takes out this gold base, he's going to fall really far behind really quickly. And now that the Archons are out, you really need Ghosts out. Finally, Ghosts are going to be pushed all across. But you know what? We do have supplies 78 to 118. He needs a miracle attack right here. Here we go. The Ghosts are going to get in here. And does the EMP go off? Oh my god, the Force Field is started. And it looks like Puma is just going to be wiped off the face of the planet. The Archons are going to be too much. They just represent too much DPS. And without any way to contest that one Colossus, oh, he almost snipes it off. But look at that. He's trying to kite as much as possible. The Archon is just way too much. Going to kill everything. Puma's going to GG. And HasuObs is going to take it 2-0 in this series. Holy guacamole. Did we just see HasuObs take out the Season 1 champion? Indeed, that is absolutely ridiculous. And not only that, took him out 2-0. Yeah, it took him out 2-0, and that was actually the first match that Puma has lost this season, I believe. So really impressive by HasuObs. I feel like that entire game, yet again, they were even for a really long time, and it came all down to the fact that Puma moved his army out of position. He had that sensor tower, so he felt pretty safe about that third, and all of a sudden, for essentially no reason, he sends his entire army, literally his entire army, all to go take the Xel'Naga tower at the top side of the map. Didn't go to check an expansion, didn't go to like kill an army or kill a base or something, which even if he was scouting, he should have just sent like one Marine. He sent his entire army out of position, and then of course HasuObs took advantage of that, sent his army into the third, and from there Puma had that tough decision. Am I actually going to go back and defend when I've already lost my third, or do I just counter? So of course he went for the counter, but he was too far behind from there. And that's when he takes a lot more losses, particularly from the Storm, and I really want to limelight that. The Storm got on some of the units. It was okay. You know, the Minivacs were able to heal him up again. But the Storm on the Vikings, he went from something like 7 or 9 Vikings to only 3. And going against the Colossus are now empowered. They have that ability to stay alive a lot longer, dish out that damage, and all of a sudden, he's in a huge pickle. When the first engagement happened, or that final engagement happened, really, what happened was HasuObs just took out the 3 Vikings so fast, and then the Colossus were literally just zapping away on that army. And although Puma did come out ahead, that army was still so cost efficient, he was able to just keep making units, and from there he was able to take the series. So congratulations to HasuObs for a 2-0 victory. We're going to go into an interview with him to see what he had to say about his win. Hello everybody, we have HasuObs on the line, who just defeated the returning champion from season number 1, Puma. Gosh, HasuObs, how happy are you, man?
Really, really happy actually. I didn't expect to win because, as you said, Puma is the raging champion, and I guess that he played flawless this season so far, but I'm not sure. And from what I saw in the team leagues and so on, he played really, really strong, and my TVP in the late game is quite good, but sometimes I just die to random pushes, and the Koreans are actually known for doing those kind of pushes, so I was afraid to lose quite early. Well,
you know what? Those games, those are really sick, and they were both macro games. Now, let's talk about them a little bit. Game number 1 is going to be on Terminus SC. Talk me through, what was your entire thought process? Because I feel like your overall game strategy was just to get to late game and just outplay your opponent, and it's exactly what you did. But to an opponent like Puma, I felt like, wow, that's a lot of audacity right there.
Yeah, well, that's basically, most of the time, that's always my plan, to get into the late game and to play a straight up macro game, because I don't like to play all-ins that much. Lately, I'm trying some because I want to be more unpredictable for my opponents, but I think that the Koreans are really good against all-ins, since on the Korean server there are so many like 2 base pushes and even 1 base pushes. So I decided to try to play straight up against Puma. And on Terminus, I didn't take much damage of the drops, so I think it was quite good for me so far. And then there was only one big engagement, I think.
Yeah.
Where I had some beautiful storms, actually, with some of my High Templars coming from my natural, storming his army, and, well, I just killed everything, and then I knew I can replenish my army a little bit quicker, and I just killed him. So, yeah, that worked out really good.
Game 2 was a little bit different. You must have been really worried as soon as he killed your natural. I know we're going a little bit farther into it, but he killed your natural, and all of a sudden, you were left with, you know, only 2 base. He also killed your top left expansion. There was a lot of things. You were taking severe losses. What really was the turning point in that game where you felt like, hey, I am way ahead in this point?
Actually, this game was really crazy because first of all, he sniped my Robo Bay and this drop did quite a lot of damage. So I think I was really behind. That's why I took the gold to somehow regain, to get back into the game. But he scouted very good and killed it straight away. And there was a small timing where I had Storm and he had no Ghosts, just a few Vikings, because he didn't expect me to went for HT that quickly, I think. And I was able to deny his third base. He had to lift it, and then like some seconds afterwards, I even killed it. I lost my natural as well, but I think that was somehow quite even. I'm not sure because I didn't see the replay yet, but it felt that I could win the game when I killed his third, some SCVs and some units. And well, then I killed a lot of Vikings because he tried to snipe my pylon. Like there was a warp in pylon on the, I think it was bottom middle or somewhere, and he killed it with the Vikings, but he lost some of them. So I was able to make Colossi again, and it was really hard for him to fight against my army.
Yeah, you always seem to have the perfect unit composition going into every battle, and you were so much more cost efficient than his units, I felt. It looks so good. Now, HasuObs, you just defeated, again, I'm going to say it, you just defeated the Season 1 champion. You know, how does it feel? What are the implications now for the rest of the league? Like, now that you've probably beaten the toughest opponent, do you feel confident that you will move on into either the top 16 or the playoffs, whatever it might be?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking to get into the top 16, at least to play the, I think it's called the relegation for the playoffs. The thing is that I lost to TT1, and I'm still a little bit sad of those games because I think I should have won against him. And I don't think that I can reach top 2 in my group anymore because Dimaga and Puma will probably win everyone else. And since I lost to TT1, I'm not sure how the standings are, but it's going to be really hard for me. So yeah, I will try to get into the relegation and then maybe qualify for the finals again.
Well, HasuObs, I wish you a lot of luck with that. Now, for everybody out there that wants to see more of you, where can they look to see you? You know, whether it be high-profile tournaments, streaming, Facebook, Twitter, things like that.
Well, I'm always playing the EPS in the Liga Pokal. It's tournaments from the ESL in Germany. And I will go to the ESWC, I believe. It's not sure yet. And there will be another tournament in France from Medion, which I will attend. And yeah, you can always follow my Facebook account. Just search for HasuObs. And yeah, thanks to my teams, my teammates, my sponsors. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, HasuObs. It's always a pleasure. Huge congratulations to you for your win against Puma. Hopefully, we'll catch you next time in the interview chair, man.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
See you.
Catch up.